said, "You're going to marry an impossible man, but you're going to be greatly loved." That was a ploy, I'm sure. He may have used it with several others, but it worked. Don started his own small electronics firm, making navigational aids. They were very, very slow selling, but we were able to eat from it. It didn't bother us very much that we couldn't have a very exotic life, but really we were skint, as it were.
Things were difficult and the business was struggling. My father was at a stage of his life where he needed to take on a challenge that would show the skills that he had and the abilities that he had, which he had somehow felt frustrated and unable to show in his business. My father had grown up with Kipling's stories of adventure and of heroes overcoming challenges. Chichester had achieved something on a heroic scale. I was recognised for it. He had performed a tremendous feat that everybody could see and admire. In a sense, my father wanted to take on that role, take on that persona. This was the greatest challenge possible. It grabbed my father, made him, almost compelled him to take part.
He asked me how I felt about it, and I said, well, if you can raise the money, I think you deserve it. I didn't think he would raise the money, but all of a sudden the thing took on its own momentum.
Many of the competitors didn't have that long to get a boat ready, but Crowhurst was starting from scratch.
Don chose a trimaran. He started off purely concentrating on the idea that a multi-hull was fast and that he could win. And the idea was he could win.
His head was full of ideas, advanced technology, what he could do if. This was part of his great visionary dream, really.
It was going to be an innovative and advanced vessel equipped with all the latest electronic devices that would make it better, would make it safer, and would enable him to sail faster.
That was the idea. Then Don went off to find some money.
Donald had tried a number of careers, but they'd come to nothing, and he wanted more. He believed in himself. He was inventive. He had real brains. He had a great deal of charm. He'd read avidly of these long-distance exploits, and he could talk the talk.
The nearest you get to a transatlantic route is the southern.
All he needed was someone to put up the money, and he carried along an entrepreneur, caravan dealer, Stanley Best.
It really was an exciting venture, and I'm not an adventurous person so far as I'm concerned, but it was interesting and compelling to join in.
But the perils of sponsorship are enormous. Stanley Best knew nothing about sailing, but as a hard-headed businessman, he wanted a contract.
Stanley Best made my father sign an agreement. If he dropped out before the race began, or dropped out early on in the race, he would be forced to buy the boat back. In effect, my father would be bankrupt. The house we lived in would have to be sold. He was gambling everything. He had staked everything on being successful in the race. Everything depended on it.
As the construction of Crowhurst's revolutionary boat began, his rivals, one by one, were setting sail. With a prize for the fastest voyage as well as the first man home, the men were free to leave at any time, so long as they sailed by the race deadline, October the 31st.
some similarities between us and astronauts. People were just beginning to go around the moon at that time, in fact, the first trip around the moon. There was a lot of interest in what happened to people when they're suddenly shoved up clear of the Earth. And I suppose they looked upon us the same way. You know, we're basically in a small capsule. We're setting off to go around the world. It's extremely dangerous. Anyone who goes to sea and says they don't feel fear is a liar. Of course you're frightened.
Je ne pouvais pas l'empêcher. Bernard, il a toujours fait ce qu'il avait envie. Moi, je ne pouvais pas dire non. C'était impossible. C'est pas pensable. D'ailleurs, si je lui avais dit non, il ne m'aurait pas écouté. Alors, il serait parti plus vite, peut-être.
When I left Plymouth, Spotswood was on board the launch following me. She was not very happy then. It's always a case of having to sacrifice one thing for another. You have to choose between your life and a woman, and it's got to be your own life, hasn't it? Without hesitation.
Quel homme choisit de faire une course automobile, d'aller dans la Lune? On ne peut pas l'empêcher. On ne peut pas empêcher une mouette de voler.
Around the world without stopping, single-handed, it's an enormous challenge. It's incredibly demanding. No one has done it before. Anyone who tries it just for the money or the prestige is going to break his neck.
There was this extraordinary pretty ribbon that I had to pull, and it would swing the bottle into the hull. It had to be smashed by hand. And of course that's got all sorts of connotations in sailing circles. But Donald wanted this thing. He wanted to have a go. I thought, well, if anybody has a chance, he has a chance because he is so innovative. He'll do it.
This was a classic tale of English daring do on a shoestring. A homegrown British hero. There will be TV deals. There will be newspaper deals. I mean, it's sort of that feeding frenzy starts. Rodney, my boss, was a businessman as well as a journalist. He was a Dickensian character, the Artful Dodger, perhaps even a Fagin. He immediately saw the potential to make a lot of money.
Well, a press agent's job is to get hold of the package, which could be as dull as an old tin box. Many people who do great things are often, as personalities, rather dull. So you've got to dress it up a bit Christmassy so that it appears attractive. Donald decided originally to start down beyond Penzance, but here in Teignmouth we have a fairly active publicity setup, and we persuaded him to come 150 miles backwards to start here and enjoy the delights of Teignmouth. All the hoteliers immediately saw the potential, publicity-wise.
Crowhurst's journey to Teignmouth was the first outing for his revolutionary boat. It should have taken 3 days to get there. It took 2 weeks.
It was pretty embarrassing. We've been promoting Crowhurst as the dark horse of the sea. We initially thought that this was a man who had made transatlantic voyages. He wasn't. He messed about in boats, but he was almost a weekend sailor. But everyone loved the idea of this boy's own hero. We wanted him to succeed. The public, the town of Teignmouth, and Fleet Street